Alright, so today I'm just going to talk a little bit. Try not to talk too much, but can't get around that sometimes. A little bit about strops. Most of my videos and stuff, I cover different stones and honing techniques and what have you. Um, but stropping is an integral, critical part of the straight razor shaving experience. I know there's a couple of guys, one guy in particular, who insists that if you have to strop, your honing wasn't good. I think he's nuts. Personally, there's like no justification for that. People have been stropping forever. It's not for no reason. It's not a fad. It's not a theory. It actually works. Get a razor, hone it to perfection, shave with it, see what that's like, strop it, and then tell me it didn't get better. I'll tell you one or two things. You have no feeling in your face, or the edge wasn't honed right. Because if an edge isn't honed right, stropping it isn't going to help. Should still make it better, but what can I tell you? So, I have a bunch of strops. Like most guys in this thing, we call wet shaving. We get a little carried away. Sometimes we get really into stuff, and getting into it is part of the fun. But after a while, you hit like a plateau, and you start figuring out what you really like. Me, I found early on that I loved horsehide strops. There was a guy, Jose, made strops from this company, Ambrose. You can see here, got this logo. I don't know if you can really see it. Try and get that in there. Nice stamp. Jose was a great guy. He helped me with my honing. He made great strops. He left the business to pursue other endeavors. Hope he's doing well. Jose, if you ever see this, thank you for all the help you gave me. Anyway, he was doing horsehide, and checked one out, and I fell in love with it. Thought it was great. I still have it. It's in the bathroom. So with that, you start reading, forums, internet forums, everyone's wisdom comes to the surface, and there's all this other stuff, leather-wise, different types of straps. Well, if you like horsehide, why try something else? Curiosity killed the cat, and I had to try a whole bunch of stuff, and I keep returning to horsehide. Different types of leather out there. That I've tried: buffalo, kangaroo, bridle, horsehide in various finishes, cordovan, Horween cordovan. My God, that stuff is so nice. Suede, all types of stuff. After a while, I started making my own strops because, well, it's not rocket science. You have to know about leather, but I had a job a long time ago where I was making belts. I knew something about leather, knew about the hardware, still had some of the tools. Found some guys selling leather, and made friends with a couple of them. Picked up some hides, started making some strops. It's going pretty well. It's a lot of fun. But anyway, back to stropping, because that's the topic of this thing. All right, so you're home. You have a razor. Yeah, straight razor. You might remember this one from my last video. It's my greens wedge, heavy grind. I don't know if you can see that. It's wedgy. Not a perfect wedge, but damn heavy. Anyway, great razor. Takes a beating for me. Test stones with it, test strops, do all kinds of stuff. Usually, lately, it's been living on top of my microscope because I'm using it to do side-by-side comparisons with different stropping surfaces. And while that's in no way, shape, size, or form an exact science, it does give me an insight. So, and I'm not saying you got to go out and buy a microscope to shave, because you don't. So anyway, my strops that I use daily, well, they're all over the house, but these are like the main ones right here. Seems like a lot, but okay, it is a lot. But the first thing after stropping, I use a fabric component. Does a couple of things. Cleans off the blade and starts off the what I like to think is the truing of the edge, the fin, whatever you call it. I showed you this here, right? So see how that is like a triangle, and it continues all the way along. When you shave with it, it gets wobbly. Make up a description. And stropping helps put that back into shape. and burnishes a little bit, and you get a much smoother, nicer shave. So I learned early on that I really like linen. This is fire hose, and it's 100% flax linen. Right, 100%. That means nothing but flax fibers are in the hose. So if the Dingus Committee from Facebook are listening, that means there's no asbestos. Okay, and this is also an untreated hose, and it's kind of cool because it's from 1950, which I think is awesome. And it's got the printing on it, but you don't need the printing. It doesn't do anything. It just has a cool factor to it that I dig. And alright, so I finish honing, dry the thing off, and back and forth. Can you hear that? See, I got a little bit of tension. I don't know if you can see it. There's a little bit of give in this fabric. Alright, there's a D-ring down here. Alright, I don't use it. The D-ring basically keeps it hanging straight. I usually grip like in the middle. I should choke up on it. Alright, so I'm off camera over here, but like that. See? Okay. So back and forth. Light pressure on this stuff. These fibers are intense. This is not like the commercial weave stuff you see on the artisan strops. That that stuff is great. Tony Miller's strops are awesome. He does like this phenomenal job. Scruple Works, all kinds of people, right? I make strops, I sell strops. I'm not telling you to buy mine. If anything, I'll tell you to make your own, but it's another story. But those guys, they all use a different type of fabric. It's flax, some are cotton, whatever. But the ones that they're calling linen, 100% real linen, is a lighter weight fiber. And I used it, and it's good. And I like it better than the cotton stuff. This, right, you see this stuff, it's got dimension. It's thick. The weave is heavy, right? It's backed by itself, so it has another level of stability. Let me see if I can find a piece of it raw. There's got to be a piece in here somewhere. Here we go. Yeah, got to be a piece. There's like 8 miles of hose in here. Okay, so, here's the stuff, right? It's a hose, right? See, nothing in here. No treatment, no chemicals, no whatever, right? Just linen. Now it's woven in a circle, so to make this a strop, you got to sew the end shut, or else it like frays like crazy. And when you get them, this has been cleaned once. It has to go through 2 more baths. They're from 1950. Man, they're dirty. They've been laying in a warehouse. Grungy. So I clean them up. Make those. Make the strap, rather. And that's what I use. I love this stuff. I have fabric from Kanayama. That's over here. Bring it into the picture. This is my second favorite. Right. Also heavy. Single, though, not double. A little lighter. Tough stuff. I love this strop. I love him to death. Mr. Naomi over there in Japan. He found this stuff a long time ago and started making the strops with it, and it's brilliant. But I like the hose better. Why? Well, obviously. Obviously, it makes a better edge, right? No, it doesn't. I just like the way it feels better. I get the same great edges on any type of linen. It's a matter of feel, texture, feedback. Maybe there's some efficiency. Maybe this stuff is faster. I don't know. I'm not the kind of guy who's going to pull out a stopwatch and count laps, and I'm not that guy. All right? And for me, maybe not for you or anybody else, but for me, this is way cooler than anything else. And I'm sorry to admit that part of shaving with a straight razor is the cool factor. It's a small part, but it's integral. Anyone says that that's not their thing, I don't know. But, just glides right across the surface. And after a little while, you can feel things smooth up, and you're ready to move to leather. Well, I'm ready to move to leather. Some people just strap on it forever. Now, I have strops from other people here. My #1 first strop that every honed razor sees initially. It's a walking horse. It's a horse butt. Thick, heavy, very little give. Look how stiff that is. This is an amazing strop. I'll never give it up. It's been beat up. I've sanded it down. Had it since the beginning. It's got a great fast surface. Treated it with Dovo strop paste. Works great. Completely different sound than, well, of course, the linen. Alright, but see if you can listen to this. It's like just skating, you know, but it does a great job. And if you can look, I'll turn this. I don't know if you can see like little variations in the leather. The surface isn't like polished glass. You can feel stuff going on there. You know, I kind of like that. I can see variances in the dyeing. That's like Horsehide does that. To me, that's beautiful. To someone else, maybe not so much, but to me, that's awesome. Now, the armrest thing, you know, this is Horsehide. This is what they call treated Horsehide. Jose sent this to me to see if I would like it, and I did, so he made me a strop. Using it, I still have it. It's down here. Right? This would be, you know, a very regular but not everyday use strop for me, because this one's real special. Jose made this one for me out of a hide. He picked the best part, and you know, it's real nice. Got like a treated surface, right? You hear that? It's a hair slower than the other one. There's no nap on it, but it's not as glossy, so the blade doesn't skate so much. But the feeling on this is heavenly, you know? Nice wide 3-inch piece. I like straps of any dimension, but you know, I kind of go for the wider ones because I got big hands. So like you see, to me, holding this is perfect. You want this to be flat, by the way. I can navigate around it, but if you're learning, make sure it's flat. Otherwise, stand a chance of like nicking up your strap. And don't sweat it. People nick straps. Been doing it for centuries. Don't worry about it. Sand it down. Forget about it. People get all twisted and bent out of shape over that stuff. All right. Now, lately, I've been digging this stuff. Right. Here. This. See a little bit of movement in the leather. Maybe you can pick it up. There's a little bit like right here. And it just almost looks like a wrinkle in the leather, but you can't feel it. This is bridle. This is real English bridle. You know, bridle is, you know, it's leather, like, you know, from any cow, but it's how it's treated. This is drum dyed, so it's black all the way through when you cut it, and it's drum stuffed, and it's loaded with emollients, and you can really feel like how supple it is, but it still has like kick to it, so it's got some density and stiffness, but it's not, it's very comfortable. It's stiff but comfortable, if that makes any sense, right? I love this stuff now. Made a couple strops out of it. This one hangs here. Great stuff. It's a little expensive. It's English. It's real English stuff. It's not stuff made here to emulate English. Whatever. The English know about bridle, and they do it right. Right? Great stuff. This is Buffalo. Buffalo is awesome, but not my favorite. I have a 3-incher of this around. It was cut actually from this piece. It's a beast. It's an absolute beast of a strop. The only distraction with Buffalo is working with it, because it's got like a greasy content to it. So when you edge it, when you bevel it, as I bevel the edges of my leather, the strops, like a 45-degree chamfer. So kind of gives me a nice clean surface to strop on, so when the blade comes over, it's not dragging on this sharp edge that's here now. And on the Buffalo, it tends to get a little weird when you're doing that, so you need like the steadiest hand in the world. to do a perfect line. Really good stuff though, really durable, nice feel, similar to the Bridle in speed. A little bit more movement going on in the leather. I think you can see here, it's like a crease. This is, this is part of the animal. Not battle scars, but like wrinkles and stuff. Maybe battle scars, I don't know. I don't think buffalo are like duking it out anywhere. Anyway, that's some of the stuff I'm doing now, I'm using now. But like I said, a Horsehide, my favorite. Horsehide comes in, has this treated tan surface, straight up on the back like that. It's a nice piece of hide. Now I know a little bit about leather, but don't ask me if this is top grain, full grain, horse butt. Very high quality, not cheap. Great stuff. Here's a scrap piece I had laying around. Here's one of my strops that I make out of it. This is the travel edition. It's got a snap in the back, right? Boom. So when you go on vacation, you're in the bathroom, you go to the towel rod, loop it around. Don't need hardware. It's quiet. You're not kicking off the people in the room next door. And doesn't bang against anything in the container, whatever you're traveling with. So it makes a nice travel kit. I don't know if you can see it. It's got like a nap to it. It's hard to show. There you go. See? And my finger going. It's like velvet. This is my favorite. The feel on this, stupendous. That's like what Jose made for me. That's hanging in my bath right now. It's not exactly picturesque because it's been around forever. But man, I love that stuff. The feel on that is 100% right. Every day I shave, I use that strop. All right? Every day I hone, start off with the walking horse. Trust me, before I go to shave, it's going to see that strop. Well, Horsehide of some type. I have the Jose there. I have another one hanging around here. If I turn the camera around, you'd see like strops everywhere. Now, paddle strap, I travel with these. I also use them when I hone. Again, Horsehide. Can you see the nap? These are great for beginners because you don't have to worry about cupping and all that other stuff, and whether or not you're holding it right, because there is no holding it right. It's already held. It's glued down, it's epoxied. You put this out there. Hear that? You don't hear nothing, right? Silent. The feel though in here, it's freaking orgasmic. Alright? For me. I love this surface. Nice drop. Piece of cherry wood. Got it from David. It's like 100 years old. Sealed. It's not like artisan craftsmanship. It's kind of rugged. These things are great. Can't beat them. The Kanayama, might as well show you that. This hangs over there. It's out of the way. It's kind of expensive, so I like to take care of it. If you could feel this right now, it's like so incredibly soft. It's ridiculous. Look at that. You know what I mean? Like, hello. It's so soft, so supple, so fast. This is incredible stuff. To be honest, I like the treated Horsehide more. Not the treated stuff, the finished stuff with the bluer surface. I love the Kanayama. It's just incredibly luxurious, but I like stropping on the other one more. Here's the bottom line. I just showed everyone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8 strops, a few different leathers. You got to know something. It really doesn't matter which one you pick. Whichever one you pick, make sure you like how it feels. I've never used the strop and wasn't able to get where I want to go. I've always gotten the edge, to that shave-ready state on any leather, and that includes like cowhide. The only time it didn't hold true were these Chinese strops from eBay. They cost like $6. Terrible. Waste of time. Don't buy them. Somebody else sent me a starter strap he got from somebody. It was like $5. Had a shoelace or something up on the top to hold it onto something. Yeah, that was crappy leather too. It wasn't beveled, it wasn't edged. No good. Alright, so what makes your strap great is going to be on how it's finished, whether or not it was really finished, beveled, whether or not it was burnished. That's another step, kind of smooth it all down so you don't get like these fuzzy things sticking out. Sometimes it doesn't matter, sometimes it does matter. On the Horsehide, if you get a fuzzy, it's no big deal. If you get a fuzzy on Bridle, no, that's buffalo. On Bridle, this is a little bit stiffer. You're going to run into a problem, you know, so you definitely want it beveled down. You can see the edges on here. I don't know if I can see that. That's beveled, a little chamfer, and then burnished in. All right? That's what I do with the Strops. Put them on Etsy. A couple of guys have bought them. I just like to work with leather. I'm not like some sort of strop making factory guy over here. It's not me. It's not my thing. So anyway, that's what I got. Strops. Stropping. It's critical. You got to do it. If you have any questions, shoot me an email, post a comment. Get one. If you don't have one, trust me, you need one. If you're stropping on newspaper, yeah, that'll like sort of work, but it also sort of doesn't, so stop spinning your wheels. Get a piece of leather, good leather, cut right, beveled, edged right, and you know, it doesn't matter. You see all this horse tack stuff that, like these things, you don't need that. This helps keep it stable. These rivets help keep it stable. But you don't need something this fancy. You can have any type of fitment. You know, you can put a hollow rod in here and, you know, pass a cord through it and tie it to the wall. It'll work. You know, I use them. I use this type. It has a wider mouth, and it's easy for me to attach, but it doesn't have to be so fancy. A little fancy is good because it'll help it be a little stable. But after that, it's a piece of leather. You go for high-end piece, great. Like I said, Tony Miller, Scruper Works, there's a whole bunch of people making great strops out there. If you love it, buy it. Love it, use it. All right? That's stropping.